How are we doing? Hi. How's the sound quality? Oh, y'all are still raving. Dr. Tasha, hello. Good to see you in YouTube chat. I'm seeing Gay Fesh, hello. Our dear Paco, MZ Fallen, Dark Excalibur. Hi. Hello, Spherical Cat. How are we doing? Yeah, I did my hair. It's now the color of my my blanket. Decided to go red this time. I actually wasn't expecting it to come out this dark. I was expecting it to be a little bit lighter, but I like it a lot. I also miss the warmth, Spherical Cat. It's been like in the 80s for like a week, and now it's back down into like the 40s and 50s. Cold out here too. Yeah, it's cold everywhere it seems. Wish it wasn't so cold. Like obviously I don't like to sweat, but I really hate the cold. I am not a girl built for the winter. I'm a summer girl. A spring flower, if you will. Well, I mean, I like sweating in certain contexts. Just not generally, all the time. Already trying to get the cat rolls. You all think you can get a cat roll combo, like, first off? Alright, here. I will start... Oh, well, I was going to start you off correct, but you already got it. Let's see. Let's see, how many of you can get a cat roll? We got 3. Let's see if we can get 5. I'll be happy with 5. By the way, if you're in YouTube chat and you want to participate in the cat roll combo, you just have to go to the website, transgirltherapist.org/live. You can make an account. I will get that in chat for you. At least I hope. I think Nightbot is awake. Hey! He is. So you might be noticing something on stream too. On the screen. Right near my microphone. I decided to set up a stream goal for you all. And it is going to like, I'm going to do different goals as we get like more. But I'm not going to tell you what they are yet. You have to beat this goal first. I'm sure some of you saw my pictures on Twitter with my beans. And so the first goal I've set up is Catgirl stream. I will do an entire stream in the Catgirl outfit when we reach $100. Or if we reach it today, I will put the whole thing on and do the rest of the stream in it, and then the next one. But I don't know if I believe that you'll reach it today. This is going to be a pretty short stream anyway, so you know. By the way, if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse, there is nothing wrong with me. I'm not sick or anything. I literally like worked today and had to do a lot of talking. So I'm already starting off with a little bit of a setback, but you know. Got some stuff to talk about. But I do want to chill first. It's been a stressful day, so I just like to chill. How are you all doing? I don't think we're going to get the cat roll combo. Eh. No. You're the chosen one, Femboy Origami. Yeah, tragic. You do hate to see it, Fesh. All right, so there are a few things that I want to actually talk about today. I know I said we're going to talk about Mike Pence and the U.S. House, but I do want to like touch on a couple of like smaller things. So we'll probably do like we'll probably alternate things. Probably just kind of like as a lead in and then kind of like as a break in between. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Ixtrums, for getting a tier 2 subscription. Been some bad news lately. Wanted to do something nice, even if it's a little. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Also, how much does that put us at? I don't actually remember what the tiers are. I need to be reminded. $10, yeah. I figured it out. All right, I'm gonna update the donation goal. There we go. See, we're already a tenth of the way there. All right. Actually, before we get into it, so some things have been going on. I was very mad this week because the DLC to Horizon Forbidden West released right under my nose. I completely forgot about it. And Horizon Zero Dawn is like my favorite game. And I really love Forbidden West. And I was planning on playing a little bit of it when it came out. And then I completely forgot. And so I have been patiently waiting the entire week because I have had to work every other day. I actually do want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn on stream sometime. I'm thinking of doing that next week because I've been trying to find a way to talk about it in a way that would be interesting. I do want to do more like talking about like media, video games, movies, that kind of stuff. Not that like any of you are like super interested in my hot media takes. But you know, I thought it'd be fun. I do want to do more of it. So far, what I have played of it, I was able to complete like basically the first quest before I had to go to bed. It's really been fun so far. I do like that the DLC basically kind of looks like Horizon's version of Bowser's Fury, which is very funny to me. The media I enjoy the most is stuff everybody else has already forgotten. I feel that kind of. A lot of the media I enjoy is stuff that nobody's ever heard of. And that's not like a hipster thing. It's just I generally tend to like enjoy stuff that literally gets no attention. I collect canceled TV shows. That's super cool. Like good canceled TV shows or like bad canceled TV shows? Like shows that were canceled for good reason or like shows that were canceled for bad reasons? Or both? I guess both is also an option. Good and weird. All right. Yes, MZ Fallen, I do like you. I have never even heard of that. I'm glad that you like it. I might check it out sometime. I can't promise anything. I mean, I probably won't. But I might. It does sound cool. You know, that's fair. That is fair. All right, so let's take a look at something. I want to start off with like something recent, you know, um, that I like saw. Been watching anime lately. I'd gush about kaiju, but no one watches it. I don't watch it. Not because I have something against it. I just don't know what it is. I literally have like next to no information about anime. I really don't watch it that often. Yeah, I do want to start off with something like recent, just something to kind of like get us started. Because I'm not going to go in like huge in depth or anything, but I just kind of want to look at this because I woke up to something Um, I think it was yesterday I saw this, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. And I just kind of like pieced some stuff together. But I thought I'd like briefly mention it because it seems like there was some bread tube drama yesterday, and it seemed kind of dumb from where I was sitting. Um, I am, of course, referring to Legal Eagle and Illuminati, two creators that I actually generally like. Like I haven't seen a lot of Illuminati stuff, but what I have seen of it, I've enjoyed. And I really like Legal Eagle, so, you know, I was kind of surprised to see that the two of them had some sort of thing go on. And like I'm not trying to do like a drama alert thing. I just like thought it was fairly stupid and kind of indicative of some of the weird petty like lunch table shit that goes on the online left. Because like why is this even happening? Like basically to kind of like explain, Illuminati posted something on Twitter yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Or like 2 days ago. Um Essentially accusing Legal Eagle and his editors of plagiarizing her editing style because one of Legal Eagle's editors, I guess, reached out to Illuminati's editing team to ask for like information about a plugin that they used while editing. And from what I can tell, this kind of seemed really dumb. Illuminati actually ended up deleting her tweets, which kind of is a little bit telling to some degree. But I thought it was kind of dumb because like the examples that she gave was literally something that like mainstream like television has been doing since the 90s. Like Dateline's been doing the same style of like the ripped paper thing and like the highlighting a paragraph in like a legal document type thing. And it seemed like what was happening was like two very distinct styles of like the or I guess groups of the video essay kind of communities were like defending like a person that they liked essentially. Like H Bomber Guy came out and I guess accused Illuminati of plagiarizing a documentary, which I didn't actually watch the video that he posted, but apparently it was almost word for word. And then I saw like Lance from the Surfs like agreeing with Illuminati and calling Legal Eagle like weird for copying her, which like no. I don't know. I just kind of thought this whole thing was like really weird. Like this isn't something that I really want to do like a whole segment on, but like why do we keep doing this? Like I'm not like a huge believer in leftist unity. I really don't believe that thing is like even achievable. But why do we have to keep like fighting over really petty stupid bullshit like this? And especially it's really stupid on Illuminati's like part to even think to go after Legal Eagle for like plagiarism without actual evidence of it. Yeah, it is ego. It literally is ego. But yeah, I don't want to go into this like too heavily or like for too long, but I just thought it was like really fucking stupid and I wanted to mention it because I figured people would probably ask me about it anyway and ask like what my take was or whatever. And my take is that it's dumb. Illuminati was objectively wrong and Legal Eagle was perfectly fine. And also Why? Why is this a thing? Why do we keep doing like all of the stupid petty drama? But yeah, I just thought I'd mention it. That's probably not going to be a segment, by the way. Or I'll probably turn it into a short. But like, I just thought I'd mention it. I thought about watching the H Bomber guy video, but honestly, I don't even care. Anyone who read Illuminati's tweet like knows that this was stupid and never should have happened. So, do we want to talk about Mike Pence? Because I want to talk about Mike Pence, unfortunately. You know, he's a man very dear to my heart, being from the great Hoosier state. You have weird wants. I can't deny that, honestly. I do have weird wants. You know, Mike Pence is a buddy of mine. Sometimes I just got to talk about my pals, you know? You know, good old Mike. All right, we're going to talk about Mike Pence. So, unfortunately. Hi. We unfortunately have to talk about former Vice President and former Indiana Governor Mike Pence. I don't like talking about Mike Pence that often because I'm honestly like embarrassed to live in the same state as him, but you know, unfortunately a thing happened and I want to talk about it because not a lot of people were talking about it. So let's just take a look. So this was the headline that I saw and I think a lot of people saw was Mike Pence gets booed at NRA convention in his home state. Now this is from a couple weeks ago or like a week ago. I'm not exactly sure. Because what does time mean? But Mike Pence did get booed at the NRA conference in Indianapolis, which is very funny. It is very funny that Mike Pence walked on stage, said "Welcome NRA" or "Hello NRA" or something like that, and then immediately got booed. That's very funny. And the thing is, the reason why I want to talk about this, the reason why I'm bringing it up, is because this is about where that ended for a lot of people. I really didn't see very many people talking about the actual like event itself or anything that Mike Pence said specifically. Most of it was centered around either Mike Pence got booed at the NRA, or the NRA thing happened, or Trump spoke at the NRA. Like that's about what I saw, you know? And I think it's kind of a mistake for us to overlook this because I listened to what Mike Pence actually said, and I kind of find it a little bit terrifying. So I want to actually, real quick, listen to these clips and go over why what Mike Pence said was bad, and why we should kind of care about it. So let's go ahead and take a look. I saved a Twitter thread that kind of went through the actual, not really sentence by sentence, but like topic by topic part of the speech. So we're going to start. We are going to start here with Mike Pence getting booed because it is funny and I do want to make fun of him. So let's start with that. Oh wait, nope, nope. We're not getting demonetized. Nope. No demonetization. We have to cut this out of the edit. It'll be fine. But here we go. This is where he gets booed anyway and the music's gone.
I love you too.
All right. So Mike Pence did get booed and it was very funny. I will say this. His response was kind of funny. Like it is, I will give him that was kind of a fine way to handle it. But I want to go through what was actually said during the speech, okay? We don't need to actually focus too heavily on everything, but we're going to go through it. So, as Aaron Rupar here points out, we don't need gun control. Pence at the NRA forum blames recent mass shootings on trans people and mental illness and tries to absolve guns. Let's see what he actually says.
Violence that struck here in the heartland in recent days. At a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee, and at a bank branch in Louisville, Kentucky. The Bible says that we mourn with those who mourn and grieve with those who grieve. And I know I speak with everyone here when I say that our hearts and our prayers
Thoughts and prayers.
are with
Thoughts and
all
prayers.
the families that suffered loss and injury in these unspeakable attacks.
First of all, Mike Pence does not give a single solitary shit. I just want all of you to be aware of that. Not a single person who attended this event actually gives a single shit about anything that happened in Nashville. To them, Nashville is just an excuse to continue a genocide against trans people. I want that to be clear. We can sit here and let Pence have his day saying our thoughts are with the families. He doesn't give a shit. None of them give a shit. I just need you all to know that.
Ignoring the motivations of the trans activists who killed 3 children and 3 adults at that Christian school in Nashville.
So notice how Pence is framing this, by the way. When he's talking about this, he is portraying this as if what killed Christians was trans people. Yeah, the trans activist. Yeah, Aztec, they are in fact demons that want kids to die. Yes, he is framing this as a trans activist is killing Christians in school. And not just Christians, but Christian children. Because it's all think of the kids. I need you to understand the framing here, first off. But we'll let him continue. We'll let him continue to speak.
And ignoring the mental health challenges of the man who killed 5 people and injured 8 others in Louisville.
Ignoring the mental health challenges. So the issue here, if you can't tell, to Mike Pence, is what is causing violence in our communities is mental illness and trans activists targeting Christian children.
President Biden and the Democrats have returned to the same tired arguments about gun control and gun confiscation. But we don't need gun control. We need crime.
I do actually want to source on the gun confiscation thing because that is not something I have seen. And if Biden is actually talking about gun confiscation, then we can have a talk about that. Obviously, my political leanings are that gun control is kind of cringe in a lot of ways and not in some other ways. But generally speaking, the framing of this still sucks.
Crime control. We don't need lectures about the liberties of law-abiding citizens. We need solutions to protect our kids.
Protect our kids. Yeah. So already, Mike Pence, during his NRA speech, took the time to blame gun violence on trans activists targeting Christian children and mental illness. And note what language he uses here, by the way. He's talking about he's going back to the standard talking points, right? The our right to bear arms, individual liberty, the law-abiding citizen stuff, because that is the way that he can shield what he actually believes, which is going to become evident here in a minute. Getting very close to 14 words territory, yeah. Oh, just you wait. Just you wait. So we're going to continue to go. This is the next clip.
With Joe Biden spending trillions of dollars on their liberal agenda, I think the time has come for leaders in our nation's capital to give every community in the country the funds to place armed resource officers in every public and private school in America.
This is insane, by the way. Actually insane. There are thousands of reasons Like, we have data on how, like, school resource officers don't actually do anything to protect schools, broadly speaking. And he's calling for every school in America, public and private, to be given a school resource officer. For one, we apparently can't afford, like, basic social services, but we have enough money to do this. And the other thing is, I see no issues. I see no potential issues. Me, when my homeschool, like, requires a school resource officer. There are some states where homeschools are considered private schools. I wonder if they would be allowed to claim to have a school resource officer. I don't know. I just really don't trust Republicans to be smart enough to not have that be the consequence of their bill, but it's still. So then we get into this one.
I believe the time has come to institute a federal death penalty statute with accelerated appeal to ensure that those who engage in mass shootings face execution in months, not years.
A federal death penalty statute with an accelerated process. I see absolutely no world in which that gets used for literally anything else. For one, the reason why this is bad, first of all, I do have a very big political bias against the death penalty as a concept, not just because of, like, moral reasons, but because it is actually more expensive. It drains taxpayer money more than just having prisoners in prison for life. And he wants to take a system that is already imperfect and already, like, falsely executes people, and he wants to accelerate it. Now, of course, in this video, and anyone who is going to, critique me is going to say, well, but he's saying he just wants mass shooters to have it. I'm sorry, I don't fucking believe him. It is not going to just be mass shooters that are going to be affected by this. It will be other things. We already saw Florida instituting death penalty for CSA. Like, literally anything is on the table with something like this. And if he wants to accelerate it for mass shooters, what else does he want to accelerate it for? Sure, Dark Excalibur. And also, yes, Spherical Cat. The people are already dead, though, so, like, an accelerated death penalty isn't actually going to do anything. The reason why you have a death penalty is to prevent other crimes from happening, and if the like, consequence has already happened, like, it's not worth it. Oh, yeah, Aztec, he totally cares about the mental health of these people. Stay with me, though.
Finally, with so much violence taking place at the hands of those with severe mental illness.
Severe mental illness.
The answer to mass shootings is not fewer guns, but it's more institutional mental health in this country.
More institutional mental health in this country. What does that sound like to anybody? We starting to get what he's putting down? Because he's going to continue.
Last acts as governor of Indiana before I became your vice president was we broke ground here in the Hoosier State on the first new mental health hospital to be built in 30 years. Men and women, we have got to get back to institutional mental health care in this country. Families with someone who is struggling, a threat to themselves or a threat to others, have to have a place to send that family member other than the county lockup. We've got to rebuild institutional mental health care in America. Now, while the other side talks reflexively about gun control, these are real solutions.
No, they're not. And don't worry, we'll get to the rest of it.
Backing the blue, protecting our kids. Advancing policies that will ensure that justice is swift. And dealing with the dangerous mentally ill with institutional care.
So, there are a lot of reasons why that is terrifying to hear. And there's nothing else that we're going to talk about with this, so. Notice some of the phrasing that he used in that last part. He didn't say we need to create a better mental health care system. He said we need to get back to institutional mental health care. I want it to be very clear here that what Mike Pence is actually like advocating for is bringing back insane asylums, and he wants to put trans kids there. People will say that is not what he's saying because he doesn't technically say those words. Mike Pence is way the fuck more dangerous than a lot of the politicians that we have. And the reason why is that Mike Pence is a Christo-fascist, and he is really good at keeping the mask on. He doesn't often go mask off because he knows that he can't get elected otherwise. It is very hard for someone with his cadence, with someone with his background to get elected being as mask off as someone as Donald Trump. He doesn't have the same kind of charisma. If he goes mask off, it makes the rest of the party look bad because as it stands, he is what appeals to the moderates in the Republican Party. And Mike Pence is essentially calling for the mentally ill, by which he will define as trans people, gay people probably. I mean, he literally did defend conversion therapy when he was the governor of this state. He will define mentally ill as anyone who is inconvenient to his political goals. That is ultimately what the fascists want to do. It's what they always do. And Mike Pence is a fascist. He's a very specific kind of fascist. I said he was a Christo-fascist, and he is. He is a theocrat, but he's not a theocrat. He's a Christo-fascist. I've heard the theocrat line. It doesn't describe him. He is a fascist. And he does it in the name of Christianity. Yes, Ikströms, it's all about separating the mentally ill and even special needs people from society. True. That is what he wants to do. Notice how he ended that too. The dangerous mentally ill. We're getting back to the like scare tactics of the Republican Party, of scaring about the dangerous mentally ill, because it distracts them. It distracts people from talking about guns. It also distracts people from talking about the real issues that plague society. You think any of these people give two shits about the mentally ill, about anyone with mental illnesses at all? Because if they did, they would be supporting policies that directly helped people with mental illnesses. They would be funding healthcare programs that would give people access to stuff. You know, like how trans people often need mental health care. They could just be funding that. But they don't, because they don't actually give a shit. None of these people actually care about mental illness. Do not let them fool you. Yes, Aztec, they are the types that say ADHD and depression are fake, too. That's the goal here. They want to bring back insane asylums, and they want to stick trans people, gay people. How long before we start getting to other groups? I wanted to bring this up primarily because I've not been seeing a lot of people talking about it. When I saw this article, I saw it in the context of Mike Pence got booed at the NRA. Mike Pence was clowned on, you know? And we saw the clip. It was very funny that Mike Pence got booed. Now, let's kind of break from the memes a bit and remember it kind of was a little bit of a tepid boo. Like, he did get booed, but it wasn't like a roar, right? The whole energy of the NRA thing was like weirdly off. Like, it didn't seem like anyone actually wanted to be there. None of the applause that he was getting, even though he would get applause, seemed all that enthusiastic. The boos didn't even, it seemed like they were confused. Like, they didn't know if they wanted to boo. And that's actually funnier than him getting booed. The idea that everyone showed up to the NRA not knowing if they actually wanted to be there. And then trying to decide based on the energy of the crowd whether to boo or like cheer at each speaker. That's actually funnier than Mike Pence getting booed. But the problem is that, like, when I saw this article, it was just about Mike Pence getting booed. And I had to do a little bit of digging to see all of the other crazy shit that he said. Because hardly anyone was talking about it. The other stuff that I saw about it was just briefly talking about the whole thing. Even that tweet thread that we were looking at was just a tweet thread live tweeting the actual conference. The very next tweet was talking about the next speaker. The ones before that I think were talking about other speakers that came before Pence. No one was really focusing on what Pence actually said. And even though I'm sure if I went through the NRA thing and like listened to every single one of, I mean, there was a presidential candidate there who like said he wanted to shut down the FBI. Like, I'm sure if I go down through the list, I'm going to find even more crazy and fucked up shit from people because the like ceiling to where Republicans can go just doesn't exist. There is no limit to the actual like batshit insane things they'll say. But no one was talking about this in the context of like any of the things that he actually said. And I think that that is a little bit of a mistake. A lot of us were clowning on Mike Pence, rightly so. He is a clown and we should make fun of him because he is a terrible human being. But we can't forget that Mike Pence is influential. He does have some level of power and control in the Republican Party. Maybe not a lot, maybe not a ton, but he represents this kind of like moderate center Republican, right? Even though he's not that, he is a Christo-fascist. But he gives off the energy of one. He appeals to more moderate conservatives in a way that Donald Trump doesn't. And it's important for us to call him out when he does this shit. Because if you saw the way he was framing stuff, he was framing everything under like several layers of euphemism. So that if you call him out on this stuff, he's got any kind of argument that he can use to say, well, I didn't say that. But this is what he wants. And it's important to call it out. Because he is more dangerous, ultimately, or people like him and Ron DeSantis, who can usually kind of keep the mask on a little bit more, are way the fuck more dangerous than people like Donald Trump. Because it's a lot easier to show the kind of crazy shit that people like them do, because they just do it unapologetically. People like Mike Pence are dangerous because they don't do it out in the open. They shroud what they actually believe and then just do the things in secret. And it's important to shine light on that whenever we can. You know? I don't want to bum anyone out because I don't want anyone to think that like Mike Pence is like what Mike Pence is saying is like going to happen or anything. I think what he's saying is like batshit insane. I don't think there's any world where this is going to happen unless we lose the House, Senate, and presidency in the upcoming election. But it is worth noting that because if Pence is saying this stuff, it kind of indicates that this is where a lot of the energy is going to be going in the next couple of years with regards to Republican policies, especially when it comes to guns, especially when it comes to trans people, especially when it comes to mental health care. We need to be like watching this stuff and we need to be calling it out. as much as it's fun to make fun of Mike Pence for getting booed, as much as it's fun to clown on Republicans for being batshit insane and having an NRA conference that barely got any attendance, and then everyone there seemed like they didn't want to be there or know why anyone else was there. There were a lot of fascists there, and we need to call them out for being fascist. Yeah, they're only going to get more radical and fascist. We need to make sure that we're keeping that momentum, keeping that energy, not just letting things like this go under the radar because the booing was funny. And yeah, it was funny, but it wasn't so funny that I want us to forget about what he actually said or let him get away with saying it. Anyway, I'm starting to repeat myself. We'll go ahead and cut the segment, and I'll see you in another one. Go team. I haven't been paying too much attention to YouTube chat, but you guys are actually popping off. Hey, Mika161. Yeah, remember when Ronald Reagan specifically dismantled the system Pence is saying we need so bad? Yeah. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream and you want to throw a little bit of support, you can donate. If you are in YouTube chat, you can donate a couple of ways, either by becoming a channel member, by clicking the join button. You could donate through Streamlabs with this link I'll put in YouTube chat. If you're on the site, which is transgirltherapist.org, you can donate either through getting a tiered subscription like Ikströms did. You can just donate to the site. And by the way, if any of you are feeling particularly helpful, I do have a GoFundMe that I am still actively trying to raise money for. I can go ahead and post the link in the chats. I do hate shilling for stuff, by the way. I want you to know that it does actually like actively make me a bit uncomfortable to like shill for stuff. But it is something that I need to do because I do in fact want to get bottom surgery and FFS, and this will kind of help ensure that I get it. And also, go ahead and get that link. And yeah, if you feel like supporting, the link will be in the chat. I should chill harder. I mean, maybe I should chill harder, but like the problem is that I just get uncomfortable with it. That really is I just like I don't like asking people for money. There we go. I was trying to find the link because I didn't have it readily available. Here we go. Go. Oh, I typed the wrong command in YouTube chat. No. You could also become a patron, by the way. Just gonna put that one out there. By the way, GoFundMe donations do not count towards the Catgirl stream. I would feel a little weird doing that. But anyway, I do like really appreciate all the support that I get sometimes. Also, hi Spirally Branches in YouTube chat. First time tuning into a live. I'm glad to see you here. If you want to be on screen, you can come to the based chat which is at transgirltherapist.org/live, which you may know is Xena and Poppy's site. I am being hosted there. We do have the most base site chat of any of the White Leaf sites. How are we doing? How are we feeling after talking about Mike Pence? Because I don't particularly like talking about Mike Pence because I think he's a piece of shit. But I am glad we did, honestly. That one's been something I've been thinking about for like a week now. And like, nobody really did cover it. I don't think anyway. That's fair, Aztec. So, how would you like to talk about Bud Light? Because I kind of want to talk about it. I didn't actually get the chance to do it. I know everyone else has already talked about this, and I'm very late to the party, but like, you know, I didn't stream I didn't stream last week, and so I didn't actually get to talk about it. And it feels bad because I did want to. Just silence this thing. There we go. So let's kind of talk about it. Let's talk about Bud Light for a second because I didn't get to, and we're gonna kind of break this up into like two parts because I want to talk about this in two specific ways. So let's take a look. Essentially, basically what happened over the last couple of weeks is Bud Light hired, is that really the word? Bud Light did a sponsorship with Dylan Mulvaney, who is a trans influencer on Instagram. They did a sponsorship. She did like a brand deal with them. It was neat, you know, trans activism, whatever. Okay, trans rights, good, cool. Conservatives didn't like this and got mad, right? And the reason they got mad was because they can never handle a trans person being in literally any space ever. They hate trans people so much they have to pour out beer because of how much they just hate trans people. And so they did. So they started boycotting Bud Light, which was again really funny because boycotts don't really work that much. But the twist ending here with the Bud Light thing was that it actually did kind of work a little bit to some degree, in the sense that I don't know how much it actually really affected their business or how much it actually like really actually did hit them or anything like that. But Bud Light did end up issuing a statement about it. And it seems like this has kind of, you know, severed whatever little ties. But the thing is, I kind of wanted to look at this from 2 points here. The first is that the way that conservatives acted with the Bud Light thing kind of proves that they are like grasping for any semblance of air when it comes to like trans people. Like, look at what they had to do in order to get Bud Light, or I guess Anheuser-Busch, because that's the parent company, to like do anything. They literally sent the company bomb threats. I kid you not, they actually fucking did. Like, they were sending death threats, they were sending bomb threats, they were like doing all of the things, and it was obviously like it's very terrible that they did this, but in a way it's kind of funny because it's like, fuck, they had to go this hard to actually like do anything. Like, I'm sorry, it kind of shows that we're like on the winning side a little bit. It really kind of does. The other thing too is I do want to point out at the end of all of this, I'm going to show this on stream. At the end of all of this, what ended up happening was Donald Trump Jr. urged urged conservatives to stop boycotting them because Anheuser-Busch is a Republican donor. Like, guys, you were shooting yourselves in your own feet just to spite trans people. Like, it's so fucking funny. I swear to, like, you can't make this shit up. Anheuser-Busch gives like millions of dollars to Republicans every year. And then, like, because they're like a company that leans conservative, so conservatives actually kind of like buy their products a little bit. A boycott like hitting them, they had to like not. And conservatives had to say, hey, please don't. They give us money. It's so fucking funny. And it shows how like actually on the winning team we are, that they had to go this hard. And then the people that they were like, you know, boycotting, they had to stop because they were going to lose out on money. I love it so much. It's so fucking funny. Yeah, that's all I got on this. Okay. Now for the second part of it. All right. Which, by the way, I'm not making a segment on any of this because it's already been done to death, but I am going to do a couple of shorts with it. Right. I have decided to kind of like take some topics and specifically set them up in ways that I can like make shorts out of them, because I think there's things worth talking about, but may not like fit into a larger segment, especially something like this where it's been talked about for fucking ever, you know? So the next thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the Bud Light thing. All right. And this one's a little bit like less funny. It's actually kind of angering, right? So I'm going to bring up an article. We're going to go through some of the points with it, okay? Bud Light did a thing where they hired Dylan Mulvaney, and Dylan Mulvaney being a trans influencer, I guess, and they hired her to do a like promotional thing. And then after the boycott started, after all of this like settled down, we already kind of talked about, you know, the funny stuff surrounding that, they ended up releasing a statement, and that statement was pretty bad. Okay. Essentially, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but essentially it boils down to, we're sorry for like dividing people. They kept like pulling this whole like, we don't want to get in the middle of stuff and we don't want to divide people. We just want to bring people together. And it's like really fucking frustrating, because at the end of the day, they kind of did use Dylan Mulvaney to just get like a quick buck out of their advertising, and then just kind of like left her out to dry to take all of this abuse from conservatives and then not take any ownership for it, not defend her, not stand up for her, not do literally anything. And yeah, it is right-wing cancel culture, exactly. This was actually like really bad. I want to like point that out because this is just like pinkwashing. It really fucking is, and we need to be a little bit like harder on Anheuser-Busch for this. You know, it's easy for us to want to defend them because conservatives were freaking out, but also they kind of like shit the bed with this. And it is worth pointing out that Anheuser-Busch is not exactly a like trans-friendly company. Something that I actually found out in doing a little bit of research for this, that I don't just currently have the links for, is that Anheuser-Busch actually has like a 100 rating on HRC's like equality index. And despite that, they actually give a shit ton of money to conservatives. And specifically, they give to a lot of ones that have a 0 rating on the equality index. Because, and this is a really big complaint that I have with HRC, they don't actually take into account like political donations when they're determining like what companies are good on like queer issues. And this is bad. A lot of people are feeling the heat with this because they think that this somewhat like, you know, progressive company is like, you know, letting the trans community down. It's worth noting that like they're not letting the trans community down because they're a progressive company that just shit the bed. They're not a progressive company. They were using her all along. This is the exact kind of thing that a lot of people will like point to as far as like rainbow capitalism. And it's worth noting that that's what's going on. Like this is just classic rainbow capitalism and classic pinkwashing, and it's really bad, and we should like bully them for it. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to talk about that for a bit because I didn't get my chance to talk about it. I know my analysis wasn't going to be like as deep or anything as everyone else's, but you know, it is what it is. All right, we're chugging along. I don't really want to stay streaming for like ever tonight because I am extremely tired. I did work today, and today was a fairly big day where I work. There was an event going on, and everyone in town wanted to show up. So it was hard, and I am tired. And also, anyone who follows me on Twitter probably like saw the other day that I went on a walk. And something I used to do, like the reason that I am kind of like a little bit more physically fit is because I used to walk regularly. Um, I used to like weigh a ton, and part of like losing that weight was just literally me going on walks, and I would walk fairly fast fairly often, and you know it led to me, you know, getting a little bit more in shape. And I haven't done that in like 8 months. And I've now like walked twice this week, trying to kind of get back into a routine with it since it's starting to get a little bit warmer. And I got on a really good pace. And for the last 2 days, ever since day after and today, my hips have been burning because I went way too hard, way too fast. Yeah, consistency is key, but also I am in a lot of pain. I have been having ibuprofen like it's fucking candy. My hips hurt so much. I'm going to have to like work my way up to getting that stamina again. But you know, I've been like dealing with that, literally like hobbling around all day, and now then had to work, and I'm very tired. It sucks. So you know, so I don't want to like stay up too much longer, but we do have one other thing that I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna go ahead and get that ready. How are we all doing, by the way? I want to check in with you all. Thank you, I'm a tree. I will have to make sure that I can Dark Excalibur, but I've been taking ibuprofen for a minute, and it's mostly helped. Um, I do take it safely. I was like mostly joking when I said taking it like it's candy. Also, hi Chainsaw. Good to see you here again. Are we um are we good to start the next segment, or do we want to chill for a minute? Yeah, I keep forgetting to stretch Aztec. It's like I'm really bad at this. Yeah, mostly. Look, I'm not gonna say that I've not been like taking ibuprofen like regularly. I've just like, you know, I've been taking it as directed. I've not been like overdoing it. You know, I don't want like I don't want to ruin my like what is it, your liver, kidney? I forget what it is that ibuprofen like typically shuts down if you take too much of. I only take half a bottle a day. True. Sorry you ruined my liver. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that, though. Honestly, I probably could take some, like... My doctor did give me muscle relaxers for some pain that I was in. And I probably could, like, take that. But honestly, the last time I took it, I just fucking straight up, like, died for 8 hours. Like, I was just dead to the world. And honestly, I do not want that. I want to actually be able to be functional. I mean, I got good sleep, but, like, I didn't want to sleep was the problem. Gotcha, Dark Excalibur. Well, I hope that you feel okay soon. Do we want to, like, kind of briefly talk about TYT? I just remembered it's another thing that I didn't get to talk about. Like, I know it's kind of basically been played out at this point, but I was only going to talk about it briefly anyway, just to kind of clown on Anna Kasparian, mostly because of, like, her interaction with Emma Vigeland of the Majority Report, because everyone talked about, like, her initial stuff. And actually, I don't think it wasn't Anna that was interacting with Emma. I think it was Cenk. It was. The long story short of it is that, like, Anna Kasparian did, like, a turf rhetoric and then got called out for it and then tripled down and quadrupled down and then, like, literally, like, doubled down so hard that she literally dug directly into the center of the earth and basically just, like, nestled herself into the core of the earth. That's so hard, how hard she doubled down on everything. And yeah, TLDR, Anna's a dumbass and Cenk is a dick. And the thing was that, like, initially there was, like, a divide over who was, like, calling Anna out and who was, like, calling her, like, saying that she was doing turf stuff and who was, like, a little bit more defensive. And essentially at the start of it, if I remember, the Majority Report was kind of defensive of Anna Kasparian and TYT because they were basically saying, like, no, they're not, like, anti-trans, like, they just have a different, like, point of view on this. And, you know, like, Majority Report's a little bit, like, Libby when it comes to stuff like that, so, you know, it's fine. But then Anna kept doubling and tripling down. What exactly was said. So essentially, you know what? Let's just go through it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do the whole thing. All right. Let's go. We're doing it live. All right, we're gonna do it. I don't have actually the original tweet, or maybe I can find it real quick. I bet if I just search Anna Kasparian and woman, I will find it. Wait. I got it. Okay, we found it. Okay, we're just gonna go over it. This is literally from a month ago, by the way. This is like such old drama. I just really barely wanted to mention this, but you know what? We can just do it. I don't care. I'll rehash this just for engagement. It's fine. So let's do it. I don't know if anything that I said is going to be actually, like, included in the video, but we'll give, like, a brief overview. Essentially, we're talking about TYT. So let's kind of go here. Anna Kasparian a month ago said, I'm a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or person who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading this is? You can support the transgender community without doing this shit. This is kind of like a bit of a turfy thing to say. Which by the way, Liam Doris here, which follows me. I just want to say he was a political candidate here in Indiana. Liam Doris here. Anna, that might be one of the most turf things you could say. Just saying. True. I will say, like, I usually do have a little bit of disagreements with Liam Doris because he does kind of go down a little bit of the weird like anti-voting like left pipeline a little bit, but I am glad to see him saying this because that's based to shit. But she said this. People obviously called her out on it. She went on to the Young Turks to then defend this. People called her out more. She got very mad about it. Let's see. I think, the serfs pushed back. The Humanist Report pushed back. Riverboat Jack pushed back. There was a lot that went into this. Yeah, that's a lot of red. There's a lot of red on my screen. It's really weird that a lot of people who aren't very good with trans people are agreeing with this. So that happened. And eventually, I literally just had to look up woman. So, she said this. And then, how much does she use the word woman? All right, well, this was the other big tweet. Can I ask a question in good faith? If being referred to as a biological woman in the context of healthcare is offensive to trans men, why is it somehow less offensive to refer to them by mentioning the body parts that belong to biological women? How is person with a uterus better? Riverboat Jack actually responded. Yeah, Riverboat Jack actually had, I think, was one of the best responses here. Person with a uterus is specific, inclusive, and doesn't lead to negative health outcomes. The studies on this show that using gendered language for healthcare leads to significant percentages of transgender and intersex people not receiving necessary care, sometimes fatally. Now, if I remember correctly, this was responded to by Anna favorably, and that didn't actually seem to change her position because she continued to double and triple down. Like I can see like everybody pushing back. Like Demon Mama's here, Luxander's here, Chariot's here, Mixdizzy is here, Liam Doris again being based as shit. Like Katie Stoll of Some More News is here. Like everyone here like kind of like came together to tell Anna Kasparian, hey, Queen, this ain't it. And so, cut to a couple of weeks later, and they are still going off on this. And Cenk Uygur is being a dumbass, which seems to be a common occurrence lately, and says, left-wing extremists help right-wings so much. 66% of this country is left-wing according to polling on policy issues. We're going to get to that. They don't believe in defunding the police or being called Latinx or calling women birthing people or abolishing prisons. Anyone who claims they do is lying. And first off, everyone here like knows that there are issues with Latinx. We all have our arguments, whatever. Okay, fine. 66% of this country is left-wing according to polling on policy issues. I would like to point out that most policy polling considers left-wing literally anyone to like barely the left of center. So as far as it like goes, we're kind of overstating things here. And yes, Aztec, you are correct. Latinx is cringe, but most people don't think about it. Like, this just isn't an issue. And again, the birthing people thing is like, this is a nothing burger. We're talking about like medical language, and we're talking about like the language used to describe like a category. We're not talking about using it in like a personal context, right? Which of course they did debate, and like obviously You know, the one like person in Anna Kasparian's life that once called her a birthing person in regards to like talking about something to do with like medical issues is obviously like evidence that everyone is doing it. But, you know, this is what happened. So essentially, this tweet is posted, and Emma Vigland from the Majority Report responded and said, "Isn't your point contradictory? If that number is correct, that means that any aversion to inclusive language is marginal compared to policy sets. Democrats have been doing well electorally as well. Nobody is making voting decisions based on clumsy activist or medical language," which is true. What helps the right here is ceding ground to them and not being proactive in reframing the debate around these phrases, which we have to do on behalf of this country's most marginalized groups. If people prefer inclusive language, shouldn't we listen and make the case for them? Based Emma Vigland. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to see Cenk and Hassan yell at each other over this. True, I do too. That would be so fucking funny. This was quote tweeted by Cenk, if I remember correctly. I'm going to need to find it real quick because no. All right, we're just gonna find it. All right, so make sure you get all of this in the cut, by the way. I'm just joking. You can cut this out. I don't care. We are going to find this. Come on. Did I misspell something? Don't make me do this. This man tweets so fucking often. I was not prepared to do like an entire segment about this, or I would have had actual links. All right. I think I found around. Yeah, here we go. Here it is. We'll get to the others. Oh, did I? Okay, that is probably why. I see leftists using this language outside of clinical context all the time. No, you fucking don't. This new excuse that no one was using it anyway is bullshit. Yes, it fucking is. No one was using it. God, Jesus. But I'm happy about it. If everyone wants to retire these terms to just clinical context, great. I agree. No, you don't. You have been arguing against that the whole time. So then Emma responds, I guess then the question is, why the repeated emphasis on this, especially with no examples of electoral fallout? Why do leftists have to bend language to appease the right? Hasn't the TYT mantra always been about fighting and beating the right into submission metaphorically? Again, based fucking Emma. Which Cenk responds, stupidly, we didn't repeatedly emphasize anything. Yes, you did. Anna posted the most innocuous tweet of all time. It was literally TERF rhetoric, which now a lot of you are saying was perfectly normal. No, a lot of TERFs are saying was perfectly normal. Then leftists lost their shit. No, trans people lost their shit because you were doing a TERF rhetoric and started saying it was an attack against trans people, because it was. There is absolutely no question about who started this and made an enormous deal out of it. I really love the framing here that it's like the crazy trans people trying to cancel the reasonable cis woman who's just trying to stick up for women. Oh my God, it's just TERF rhetoric, by the way. Everyone felt like they had to do a video explaining how they're more holy than us. Cry, cope, seethe, dilate. I don't care. All of you, cope. I don't care. When no real voters on the left agree with you at all. Source. Please don't pretend now that we're the ones making a big deal out of it. You are like, oh my God. They were literally tweeting about, you saw the date, by the way. The date was literally a month ago. We are now into like the second week of April. They're still talking about it then. Okay? Gotta say, this is a place where listening to trans voices would actually be good. True. All right, so then I think this kept going. Yeah, okay. So Emma responds and says, the repeated emphasis and reaction have been on social media. I can't speak to the segments you guys have done on the show. I'm not trying to be pure. I'm engaging with you, even though it's uncomfortable for me because I love you guys and want TYT to be on the right side here. Again, Emma being fine. And then Shank says, good news. We are on the right side. Mission accomplished. Now let me talk to you in a patronizing way about all of your opinions I need to correct. Oh my god, they're so fucking fragile. This is the most fragile, like, man-baby response you could get from this. I was trying to express my love and appreciation for the company that gave me my start and for my good friend Anna within the context of a disagreement. This reaction is pretty shocking to me, Chank. Have a good one. Emma, we love you too. We'll get beyond this disagreement in a second, but in this case, you guys made a giant mountain out of the smallest molehill. Then after all these videos correcting us, I'm surprised you guys think we were supposed to find that friendly and awesome. Oh my god, log off. I was not planning on going over this whole thing, by the way, but this is so fucking funny. Coming back to it, holy goddamn shit, why are these people so fragile? That was literally all I was going to talk about, was just the context of Chank and Emma's discussion. But like, now going back to it, do y'all see like why this is stupid, by the way? Like, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, okay? During the next stream. But I'll give a little bit of a sneak preview, okay? I really hate this, this like Aztec said, wow, we're friends, you're not allowed to disagree with me. I really hate the way that they framed this whole, like, they're just making videos about us, because Anna did literally go on to claim everyone was clout sharking TYT, and that she didn't want to work with leftists anymore because of it. And I really hate this trend that I see online about brigading, harassment, about the clout cycle. Because we're not being honest with ourselves. We all know that at the end of the day, part of this is the cycle of dogpiling, right? What happened was Anna Kasparian got dogpiled. I actually don't think it is a incorrect thing to say that. Some people were like out there when Anna would say like, I'm getting dogpiled and, you know, getting harassment or whatever. There were people out there that were basically denying that that's what was happening, saying, well, no, you're not getting dogpiled. People are just calling you out for bad behavior. And I would like to posit a secret third option here, which is that both were true. The majority of people were, at least in my view, when I was reading through comments a month ago, being in good faith. They were giving good faith criticisms. It was also a dogpile. At a point when enough people are like messaging you or commenting on your stuff, it becomes a dogpile. That's just objectively the case. The problem is that Anna Kasparian reacted to that incredibly poorly. I'm sorry, but it is kind of like your job to sort through that. It's not our job. And Anna Kasparian is a very, very influential, like, large public figure. We're not talking about a nobody here. We're not talking about some, 10 follower Twitter account that said a bad thing and then like 1,000 people started like harassing them. We're talking about somebody who is literally the co-host of a major news platform. I'm sorry, you are subject to criticism. And that criticism will inevitably, due to your size, lead to a dogpile and lead to harassment. And we're going to talk about this more when I talk about a very specific video that some people have talked about featuring two other leftist or left adjacent creators in my upcoming stream. But I just want to kind of point that out, that like people were talking about this as if like Anna wasn't getting dogpiled. She was, but the fact is that I don't care. Kind of her job to actually like filter through those comments or fucking have someone do it for her. Like if she actually wanted to be convinced on this, it is her job to look at the good faith disagreements and engage with them, but she didn't. And neither did Shank, by the way. Shank was like, I think almost worse than Anna in a lot of ways. Like Anna Kasparian doubled and tripled down, but Shank like was just an asshole to everyone. I'm sorry, like that just is the case. Like, no, fuck both of them, honestly. And I'm fine saying that. Like, I think TYT generally like leads people to correct positions. I think for the most part, they're like usually fine. But like, no, fuck them. And yes, like Aztec said, TLDR, Anna's a dumbass, Shank is a dick. That's what we're ending this this segment on. So yeah, I will see you later. I wasn't intending on doing a whole ass thing on that. Stream is not over, by the way. Stream is not over. I didn't get to do the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, coming full circle. Editors are gonna have a field day with that one. They're gonna be so mad at me. I'm gonna have to like pay them extra for that video. All right, bye. I'm a tree. Glad to see you here. By the way, if you've been enjoying the stream, this is just a reminder that you can donate. If you you like my content, you can donate in a variety of ways. If you're on the website, you can get a tiered subscription or donate to the website directly. Anything that you get for the website, by the way, while I'm streaming, goes to me. If you are in YouTube chat and you would like to, you can do a super chat or a super thanks. You can join and become a channel member by clicking the join button. You could donate through Streamlabs. There is a Streamlabs link in YouTube chat, and I can also post it in the site chat if anybody is interested. You could become a patron on Patreon. You could donate to my GoFundMe if you wanted to support me a little bit more directly. And also, just a reminder, we're trying to get to $100 for me to wear the Catgirl outfit and do a whole stream in the Catgirl outfit. If you want the beans, you gotta get to 100. We're already a tenth of the way there. I believe in you. We got one more segment to do. I was gonna end around this time, but I do want to do the last segment because it is important. So yeah. This is the real goal. Cat roll. True. Can I get to the beans in YouTube chat? Malik in progress. You can get to the beans if we get to $100. I'm gonna slide that donate link in. I'm excited for the next couple of streams. This could change. The original plan was to break this up into 3 streams, 3 kind of like smaller streams, where I was going to stream on Wednesday and then again next Saturday. But depending on how things go, I might actually change that. I might stream on next Sunday instead. And the Wednesday stream may or may not like move or be canceled or something. Like we're still kind of working that out with the actual scheduling. But the tentative schedule is to, you know, stream a couple of times next week to make up for lost time. Because I haven't streamed in like 2 weeks, I think. And I missed you guys. Hi, Dr. Ness Prophet in YouTube chat. I want to see more of y'all on the site. I also want to see more of your donations or tiered subs. I never leave. I actually live in the chat. That is true. Aztec actually does live in the chat. She lives in your walls, actually. You should probably feed her. It's probably been a while. Nope. All right. I'm ready to kind of start on the next segment, I think. Last segment. Of course, maybe when we end, we might briefly mention some of the dumb Twitter shit, but like, nah, honestly, no, we'll just leave that. I need to like look into it more. There was some dumb Twitter shit and I want to talk about it, but honestly, I need to do a little bit more looking at it. So let's do this. Hi, so we are going to talk for a minute about something that happened recently. If you've been following stuff, you probably know that the US House recently just passed a federal trans sports ban. And it is worth noting that this is going to die. Like, it's not a bill that's actually going to succeed. It's going to die in the Senate. And if by some like freak of lightning, like for some reason, like an accident happens and like we actually live in like the Thanos timeline, it doesn't die in the Senate, Biden is going to veto it. So we're not at risk for this to actually like become a law, but I still wanted to talk about it. I have this article here. It is by the Congressional Equality Caucus. This is from almost 2 months ago at this point, because this was when it was moved through committee, I believe. Basically condemning it. It's your standard trans sports ban. It essentially bans trans girls. It might actually like talk about trans men too. I don't actually know. I didn't look at the actual bill, and the article doesn't mention it, but it specifically at least bans trans women from competing in women's sports in schools. This is what like that bill does. I just kind of wanted to bring that up for a second. And then we're never going to look at that again because I kind of want to talk more about the overall, like what this means with regards to it, because this is something that is going to die. We're not actually at risk of this bill like passing and becoming a law. But the reason I wanted to talk about it was because it is kind of important. Okay. This is kind of an indication that the using trans people as like a culture war thing for conservatives is not going to be relegated to just the state level, which is what we've been mostly seeing. A lot of the trans sports bills, a lot of the healthcare bans, a lot of the like bathroom bills, all of this stuff has been segregated to the states, the state level or the local level with regards to the actual policy making. And the reason for that has mostly been that they just don't have the numbers. Broadly speaking, even Republicans really don't support this shit that much. We saw that with the the bans in Kentucky, where the majority of even the Republican Party did not support actually banning trans healthcare. Now, it might be a little bit different with the sports bans as like compared to the healthcare bans when we're talking about like Republican support, but for the most part, this stuff isn't really all that popular, broadly speaking, and Republicans don't have the numbers to be able to get shit like this passed. However, it's important that we note that they are doing it anyway, even not having the numbers. This is more of a symbolic thing. It's kind of signaling to their base that they are going to continue doing this. And why we should care about that is recently, anyway, I've been seeing a lot of kind of weird stuff on Twitter and in the kind of like leftist cultural zeitgeist that happens every time it gets close to an election year, which is the nothing matters and the Democrats are useless and we shouldn't vote and we shouldn't do anything and like we need to just like tear the whole system down and we need to do accelerationism and we need to like make things worse so that everyone will do a revolution and all of these weird things, okay? And I want to point out that I'm seeing like a rise in this mostly because it's getting towards an election year, but we're seeing a rise in this because obviously people are frustrated that the Democrats aren't being as hard on the trans stuff as we would want. I am the first to admit that. Biden sucks, the Democrats sucks, they could do better on literally every single issue, and they could especially do better on queer and trans issues. That said, it is worth noting, I want to preemptively like address the people who are going to say that none of this matters and you shouldn't vote and you should vote like for, you know, candidates that are only going to get 0.01% of the vote in the fall. That the reason why this stuff didn't pass is because we have Democrats in office right now. If you think there is a chance that we are going to get a bunch of like DSA candidates into the House, you are mistaken. It's not possible. Not right now. I would like to see a world where it is. I would like to see a world where we can have more third-party candidates, but we can't in the system that we have. We need to be putting our focus into like realistic goals because right now we're facing fascism and they want to eradicate trans people and I can't afford to not vote. I can't afford to not care. I can't afford to not give a shit about Democrats being the only, very thin, but only thing standing between us and Republicans going mask off on genociding us. We need to care about this shit. And we need to knock it off with the weird, like, nothing matters, political apathy. Don't vote for any Democratic politicians. They're not going to do anything for you. Guys, what we need to be doing is pushing people to the left. And we need to be getting in people who are going to do what we want. The more we pressure Democrats to concede to our demands, the more they will do so because they value political relevance more than anything. You're not getting your random third-party independent running candidate to win in really almost any district. Even in the examples where there are third-party candidates that win, it happens very irregularly and usually doesn't last. Now, this changes at the local level. At the local level, there is more chance for third-party candidates to win. And I would actually like encourage people to try to get more people at the local level to push things to the left, to get more independent third-party candidates. If you can, if it's smart. There are going to be areas where it is not. Take my area, for instance. This is the area that I live in, the area where I am streaming from right now, is a Republican stronghold. It is gerrymandered to hell. There is no way that a Democrat can win in this county, let alone someone on the DSA. You have to be smart about it. Focus on the fights that we can win, focus on the fights that we need to win, and then focus on the fights that we want to win. Right now, we need to win this one. And this weird, like, accelerationist or like weird apathetic desire to do nothing in the face of literal fascism and literal genocide is real fucking stupid, and it's real fucking frustrating. And I need all of you to knock it the hell off. Yes, with Otro, build up the progressive movement. Yeah, doomerism, and it's bullshit. I have, on my channel, from the start, been a very fierce advocate for not doing political doomerism. I have fought back against that from the beginning, and I'm not going to stop, by the way. I'm going to continue. And that's what I'm doing in this segment. The reason why we need to care about this trans sports bill going through the House is Republicans don't have the votes now. Do not get complacent. That does not mean they won't have the votes in the future. And I need you all to understand we have a conservative Supreme Court. We narrowly lost the House. We only narrowly have the Senate. And our president is Biden. Now, it may sound like I am trying to doomer pill you all, but I'm actually trying to show you this is what we're fighting for. Because this is where we're at. 2024 matters. Okay? 2024 matters. And even though we have such a thin line between us and literal fascist genocide, we need to fucking keep that. We need to keep that thin line. We're talking about the real thin blue line here, not the fake one that conservatives love. The real thin blue line between us, trans people, and literal fucking fascists genociding us. I don't want to see that. And we need to care about this shit because we are coming up on an election year. We are going to start seeing the fucking like doomerist fucking accelerationist. And this is why we have to not do that. Because if we do that, if we lay down and do nothing, we try to do our spoiler candidates that aren't going to win. We try to elect people that have no chance. We don't take our W's when we get them. We're going to see the Senate or the presidency or both being taken over, whether it's narrow or not, by the Republicans. The Republicans only need a narrow victory. See, that's the thing that a lot of people don't seem to realize is the Democrats do need a lot larger of a victory to get a lot of shit done than what Republicans do. Republicans just need a narrow victory. They've already set themselves up with the Supreme Court. Roe v. Wade is already gone. They've been using that justification to look at other court cases. We know that if this stuff gets challenged, we don't have the Supreme Court on our side. We can't trust them to do what is actually right. And this shit indicates that the Republicans are still going to do this. They are taking what is currently at the state and local level, and they are going to bring it onto the national stage, more than they already have. And I want to point out, too, that we have a lot of people in Congress right now. I'm looking at you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. We have a lot of people in Congress that are actively trying to get what's going on at the state level to happen at the national level. They're not going to stop with this trans sports ban. Arguably one of the least consequential things. They're going to go after federal bans on transition care. And if you think they're just going to stop with minors, we can already see at the state level that that is not the case. Missouri just literally made it functionally impossible for a lot of people, even if they're adults, to get trans healthcare. They're going to try to do that shit nationwide. They're going to do the bathroom bills. They're going to do the healthcare bans. They're going to do the drag bans. They're going to go after anything to make it to where our ability to live in public and then later to live at all is essentially forfeit. And this shit is indicative of that. We need to not ignore it. We need to not do the doomer shit. I don't want you to think that this is hopeless, okay? Because it's not. Currently, like I said, this shit is going to die. We have the Senate, we have the presidency, you know. We've got something, but it is going to be difficult. And we need to ensure that we can keep what we have so that we can actively try to build for something better. Because we're not going to be able to do it when the fascists are actually at our doors. If you think that having a Republican-controlled presidency with the House and the Senate is going to make us able to fight fascism easier, I've got a lot of bridges to sell you. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Do you understand this? This stuff matters because it's going to matter a hell of a lot more in the future. This is where the battleground is going to be. We need to not sink into doomerism and let the fascists win. That was the whole point of this. I'm just using the trans healthcare ban as a trans healthcare ban, the trans sports ban as a springboard to talk to you all about this, because honestly, that is the most important part of it. This bill is going to die. They're not going to be able to pass it. That's pretty evident. But we may not always have that, and we need to not do what I'm already seeing people doing, which is saying that nothing matters, that the Dems are useless, that we shouldn't vote for them, that we should vote third party, that we shouldn't vote at all, that we should do the accelerationist thing. No. Fuck that. I can't afford to do that. And a lot of trans people can't either. Yes, remember what we are fighting for. That's really all I gotta say. You know, I've been kind of repeating myself. So we're going to go ahead and end this here. Thanks for watching. Go team. Yeah, Aztec, the trans issues aren't popular with Republicans. We need to like utilize that too. We need to be a lot more like actually hard on that. Yeah, with OTR, they definitely are overreaching. The thing is that like the Republicans like don't have an actual leg to stand on with most of this. They don't have the popular like opinion when it comes to trans issues. So they have to lie about it. They have to push things through. They have to like just do what they want. Like that's why Florida is so dangerous. It's why Texas is so dangerous. It's why the Missouri thing is so dangerous. And don't get me wrong. I am going to talk more about that. I just don't have time tonight. Right is fracturing. We need to keep pressure on them by forcing them to say what their intentions are. Yeah, that's true. We do. They are fracturing, but I don't want people to think that like we've won either. Like we need to strike a balance here. We need hope, but we also need to remember that like we can't be complacent because we are winning, but that victory hasn't been sealed yet. They are fracturing, but they're not fracturing in like the way that like it is necessarily inevitable that they're just going to like break into pieces and be politically irrelevant. We have to make that happen. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say on that. It's like I said, the sports ban was really just kind of the springboard to talk about like why we need to not do the doomerous shit. It's really fucking frustrating. I'm already seeing it online. And like we're not even into 2024 yet, but we are getting into election season. It's going to start like becoming more and more relevant. Yeah, they are coalescing and radicalizing. That is true. That's the danger. Is that like while they're fracturing, they're also like a lot of like groups that are fracturing are getting louder and louder, and they're radicalizing people. Really, really concerning, honestly. I've had this water this entire time, and I don't think I've taken one drink of it. My throat is very sore from talking. Yeah. It's not endurance, it's just stupidity. Pretty cup. Oh yeah. It's a cup I got at a Starbucks in Denver when I was out there. Got little mushrooms on it. Very cute. I like it. I am a mushroom gay. How are we feeling? I don't want to stay up too late, but I do want to you know, kind of give us time to decompress. I've been having fun. I'm glad that I've been streaming again. I've missed you all. Yeah, Chainsaw. It's actually weird. I've actually talked to Liam Doris before. I doubt like he would ever remember me because this was pre-transition. Um, I've actually talked to him before. Because and I've mentioned this before on stream, and I'm gonna like be careful to not dox myself, but I did actually run for public office once. Um, and like around that time, I actually did get to network with a lot of like politicians in the area, and that allowed me to meet with a lot of the the like house candidates and like general assembly candidates that were running and stuff, and get to talk to them and actually like try to push them a little bit left. And it was good because there are actually candidates in the area like Liam Doris that are like socialists or or on the left. One candidate that I actually did like do some canvassing for and do some phone banking for was just basically a socialist. Like he just didn't call himself that. Um, and it was really good to actually like see. We need more people like that. And honestly, like I have been wanting to like reach out to some of the people that I've been able to like know, and a lot of them I haven't spoken to in years, and they probably wouldn't remember me, and definitely wouldn't remember me like this. Um, but I have been like wanting to talk to some of them because it would be really cool if I could like actually talk to some of them like around election time. Actually talk to some candidates like on stream. And I honestly think that some of them would be down to do it too. But I've thought about reaching out to them. When I went to that rally a couple of weeks ago, I actually thought about that too. That like I thought about like contacting some of the people out there to talk to them, because I think it'd be neat to actually like both get involved, but also like get the word out on stuff. And I'm also considering, this is going to be in the future, but I have been considering potentially doing like a charity stream for some of the groups that have been doing some really good work. But this is going to be like, this is like a far in the future thing. It's not something that I can necessarily do right now. It would take a lot of planning, and I would need to actually like figure it out. But it's something that I want to do. I do want to like actually do something rather than just sitting here and talking about shit. Like I want to talk to actual like candidates. My first big stream on YouTube was interviewing candidates before the midterms. Yeah, I do want to do that. Like legitimately, I want to talk to some of the candidates, local ones. Hell, if I can get like enough pull to do some like even more broad like national candidates, like that would be awesome. Because like no, the like we need to get more awareness for people, and we need to have like the ability to push people left, the ability to actually like talk to them and you know endorse candidates. I'm really thinking of actually like working with like Progressive Victory. Not in like a I don't want to insinuate that they've like approached me or anything, but like I've actually considered like volunteering with them. I would just need to check to make sure that I have the ability to, because my schedules have been all fucked up lately. But it is something that I want to do. And hell, if they reached out to me and wanted me to like do stuff, I would absolutely do that. I do want to like get more involved, and I need to get all of you more involved, because we can actually, believe it or not, we actually can like affect change. Yeah. How are you all doing? Because I am pretty tired. Going a little bit longer than I thought I would. Door knocking can be fun. Yeah, it's like I actually did canvassing, both for my own campaign and for others, and like, no, it actually is fun. You can make it fun anyway. Sometimes it can be grueling, and you know it's not always fun, because you will get people who are like, you know, angry. As somebody who works in customer service, though, um, it's I know how it can be. It is grueling and it is frustrating, and you know there are just like reasons why you wouldn't want to, but it is good. You know, you can make it fun, especially if you got a lot of people there and a lot of people who you really vibe with. The support demon is pouring into my soul. Yeah, he's always watching. Look at him. He is adorable, but he is also staring directly into your soul. He will support you. He will support you, whether you like it or not. You will always have the emotional support demon. Yeah, good to have sales experience. I actually don't have sales experience. I just work in customer service. Um, but yeah, having sales experience definitely does help. Sales experience, if you work in customer service, if you do anything that's like facing the public, you like generally you can do pretty well at canvassing. I love being threatened with love and support. Yeah. Um, today, when one of my coworkers left, another coworker literally like yelled across the floor, uh, have a good day or else. It was I love that kind of shit. I love threatening messages of support. You will have a good day. I will be there for you. I am going to love you and support you, and you are going to like it. So this is how my friends feel when I send them gifts on Steam. Drink water. This is a threat. Take care of yourself, or else. Everyone's gonna get horny because I'm being a little bit too dommy. Oh yeah, Aztec, you're never horny. Never, ever. I should know, because I've also never been horny. I am but a good Christian woman. I've never even seen a girl. I don't even know what a woman is. A lot of people like J.K. Rowling are trying to figure it out. That's my that's my secret, Cap. I'm always horny. All right. We've been going for a couple hours, a little bit longer than I wanted to. I'm very tired. This is about the time where I'm going to remind everyone that you can get your last minute donations in. We are trying to do a cat girl stream. If you would like the beans, if you would like me to put on my beans and ears and be all cute and be a cat girl at the next stream, um, just got to get that little donation goal up to 100, and I will do it. And guess what? Once we hit 100, I've got other goals in mind too. But I don't want to give the game away too early. I want you to wonder what my next goal is going to be. But yeah, this is the last call for donations. If you're on the site, you can get a tiered subscription or donate to the site directly. If you are in YouTube chat, you can do a super chat or a super thanks. You can donate through Streamlabs. You can become a channel member. Anyone can join the Patreon. If you're on the website, you can actually go up onto the top of the screen, and you will see a little link that says Saige's Patreon, and you'll also see Saige's GoFundMe. Poppy added those a couple of weeks ago, I think, and you can actually just click on those. Links are also in YouTube chat, by the way. You just have to do bang GFM for the GoFundMe and bang Patreon for the Patreon. And yeah, if you're feeling generous, I would really appreciate the support. But if not, it has been a really fun stream, and I'm glad that everyone was here. And thank you, Aztec, for the $5 for the Cat Girl Fund. All right, that number go up. Let's make the number go up. Y'all really want to see me in the Cat Girl outfit. All right, there you go. Number do go up. Anyone else? Anyone else trying to whoops. I need to not hit my mic. Anyone else trying to get the beans? We are bean enjoyers around here. I could show you the beans. I won't put them on, but I could show you what they look like so that you know. I think I have the image. Just pull it up. Need to make sure that I don't pull up anything saucy. We're not going to go through Twitter on stream. All right, this one is actually like my favorite of the pictures. The hell? Okay. Now they need to earn it. I mean, I can just zoom in. I can just zoom in. We can just look at the beans specifically and not show the rest of it. I think that's fine. Just show the beans. You just get a picture of beans. We'll just zoom in so no one can actually see anything else. except for the beans, and then you get a preview. Here you go. The beans. Thank you, Too Good to Be True, for the $5. Local bean enjoyer here. We are all local bean enjoyers. All right, let's make the number go up again. Let's do it. Beans. You want the beans? Can I get that number to 100? We're already 2/10 of the way. I'm doing my part. Got to get that cat girl stream. All right, I can let you in. I can let you in on what the next goal will be. If that's enough of an incentive, okay? So after we hit 100, and by the way, when we hit 100, that counts towards the next goal. So it would be starting at 100. The next goal would be another $100 to 200, and then I will do a stream in the cat maid outfit. Total bean lover, but I'm vegan, so I might be confused about something. You know, that's fair. As a not fellow vegan, but mildly vegetarian, I am also a bean lover, though. But yes, I will let you in on that secret. If we hit the $100, the next goal is that I will wear the cat maid outfit for an entire stream. We can hit $200. If that's enough of an incentive for you. And when I am streaming, every patron subscription, every donation to the site, every donation through Streamlabs, every channel membership, and every super chat will count. The only thing that I'm not counting is my GoFundMe. Just because I get a little weird about that. So we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I'm tired. I've already started streaming for 2.5 hours, which is longer than I wanted to stream. Because honestly, if I was going to stream this long, I had more stuff that I could have done. But I have had a lot of fun. I'm really glad to be able to hang out with you all again. I am excited for the next stream. Thank you all so much for the support. It does mean a ton. I just want you all to know that. As much as I keep joking about the subscriber goal and about donating and stuff, it really does mean a lot. So yeah, I've had a lot of fun. And again, I don't exactly know specifically when the next stream is going to be. There is a decent chance that I'm going to be streaming again on Wednesday. Still working that out. That was the tentative plan, but we're working out the scheduling. If not, I'm going to try to at least stream on either Saturday or Sunday this coming week. And then we'll figure it out from there. But I did want to stream multiple times to kind of make up for the lack of streams over the last couple of weeks. So going to try to stream on Wednesday, going to try to stream on either Saturday or Sunday. And then, you know, gonna move from there. So it has been nice hanging out with all of you. Last call for donations. And if we don't have anything else, this has been really fun. Also, I'm sad I didn't have my cat here today. She was going to be on the stream, but she left before I started. That probably would have increased engagement. I'm just kidding. I love my cat. I really do. But yeah. We'll get her next time. Yeah, we will get her next time. She can't escape me. This is just a temporary setback. Anyway, it has been Way too long. Sorry, I just got home. Red Rebel, no! I'm so sorry. We're actually ending the stream. Hopefully I will be streaming again soon. Yeah, just in time to say goodbye. But it is good that I get to say goodbye. Yeah. See you next time. All right. I'm going to go. Bye.